What's happening, family? This your guy Pop Tarts and Onions here, bringing to you guys a first impression of the Division 2 beta game. I was actually getting a chance to actually play this. I've spent some time to do some extensive gameplay as far as the gameplay mechanics and whether or not if it's actually a game that's actually worth actually checking out. Tune in as you get a chance to find out more. Alright, so as I went ahead and played this, I was really excited about Division 2 because when I played the first one, I heard that so many people were having so many mixed reviews due to the lack of content. I did really enjoy the battle mechanics and just on the fact that it had that RPG tactical Rainbow Six type of feel. But the fact of the matter is that this game really had a lot of variety as far as, loot and being able to kill enemies and actually just having the opportunity to just improve your stats overall. When I did play Division 1, I didn't really get a chance to play the Dark Zone because of the fact at the time when I did play the Dark Zone of Division 1, there was a lot of bugs and a lot of issues with the textures of just having a strong connection when playing. But after getting the chance to actually play the Dark Zone, I fell in love with that. And the fact of the matter is I said, you know what, I'm really excited to actually play Division 2 and see what did they actually add new into the content of this game. Well, I must say, after playing Division 2 for several hours and actually getting a chance to actually play this game, I must say that this game is exactly like the first one, and I'm not saying that as in a bad way. If you enjoy the shooting mechanics and actually, getting loot and playing a cooperative experience where matchmaking with strangers and actually playing with friends, this is a great game to play, and especially for those that love the Rainbow Six series and tactical shooters. However, the thing is that it also is a bad thing because of the fact it is exactly the same game, and at least that's how I felt when playing this game. I'm not saying that it's a bad game. I'm just saying that honestly, the game really just feels like a Division 1.5, and here's why. Let's just talk about the atmosphere of this game. Yes, now obviously Division 2 is no longer in Manhattan. It's now here in Washington D.C. So obviously you guys are not in winter coats and things like that. The cold atmosphere, it doesn't really give that different feel. Now everything is pretty much during the spring or summer as we look at the textures. Strange enough, you can see here that there's like deers and animals just running around aimlessly out in the middle of the street, which is pretty cool. But honestly, the atmosphere feels exactly the same. I must say it was different textures when I was playing. It felt like I was exactly playing Division 1. Like it was just a rehash of the different atmospheres of the game. It just, the fact is that there was no cold atmosphere in the game. The fact is that you do obviously still have your strongholds where you can improve and build your stats, so therefore you can get better perks, so therefore you can become stronger. Pretty much the same thing with Division 1, the same is applied here. Even the inventory structure is actually still the same. They did allow some more customization as far as loot and how you improve your body armor, which is pretty cool. I like the uniqueness of that. Which was also kind of odd too as I was going through the inventory. Maybe this just may be a beta issue when I was playing, but there was a shotgun that I had in my inventory which I thought was an M16 auto rifle, and it was actually a shotgun until I read the text on the right, and I was like, oh wow, this is actually a shotgun, but the icon of the weapon looked like an M16. So I thought that was actually pretty interesting and funny, but I'm not going to hold that to them because of the fact, again, it is a beta testing review. But I can say this, that this game, honestly, man, it's one of those games that if you love Division, you're obviously going to love Division 2. There's no brainer about that. But for those of you that are wondering, okay, is there enough content in this game and is it going to be worthwhile actually checking out? I must say, after me playing several hours into this game, yeah, there's plenty of content in this game. I'm definitely grateful for the fact that they did give us a few mission campaigns that took roughly about 30 to 45 minutes to actually complete, but they were actually difficult. I know me and my friend was playing, we actually died several times. I don't know if it was just because we sucked at it or not. We didn't have quite a hard time, but it was just that the fact it did give us some tactical situations where we had to really plan out our attacks before we just go in blazing. I know in the first division that was kind of the case where you can pretty much go in blazing, but this one in particular, yeah, you definitely have to make sure that you plan and articulate, make sure that you're not just going in, just running and gunning. It's not this type of game at all in this particular division. Also, the enemies are a little bit different as far as variety. They have torrents that they actually shoot out, where they have their own special little humming missiles where they shoot out little remote control bombs, and so you have to avoid those in case you don't get blown up and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And then some of the enemies also were shooting grenade launchers and things like that, which was pretty cool too. So there is some difficulty in the game. I like the fact that as you're going around in the street of Washington, D.C., you're noticing that, there's different situations and scenarios and activities where you have to save hostages and actually, take out this faction called the Hyenas, which are basically taking over Washington, and you're basically having them take over this evil empire that's trying to take over Seattle. And the fact is that, it's really cool that the fact that they have those different daily missions and side quests, which were really unique as well when I was playing the beta testing of this game. I did have some fun, but the biggest gripe that I did have when playing this is that, I just kept feeling in the back of my mind, I was like, man, this feels like exactly like Division, but in a better way. But also it just felt like, it's just the same grind and the same shooting and getting loot and things like that. Now, am I saying that this is a bad thing? I would just say that, it's one of those games that honestly, if you're a person that didn't particularly care for Division 1, then you're not going to really care for Division 2. I'm just going to be honest. And I think for me in the situation that the fact that, again, the content of the game does have some variety, but the fact is that it just felt like the enemies in itself was just simply bland. As far as, you're just shooting the same enemies and shooting the same guys. And just honestly, it was just one of those things where it just felt like you're just pretty much doing the same thing over and over and over again. And again, I hope that, with them adding daily factions and daily missions, that we will be able to have some different variety, because as we were playing, it just kind of felt like we were just doing the same thing over and over and over again, going from point A to point B and just simply killing the same enemies over and over. There wasn't no difference as far as their specials. All I knew was that we were just constantly avoiding enemies from shooting their grenade launchers and their remote control humming bombs. It was kind of cool, but then after a while playing, it just kind of felt a little dull and old. Also, there was another thing that I noticed that was different about this game, is that if you were concerned is if this game is a bullet sponge type of shooter. Well, it's not really necessarily. Yes, there are some enemies as they get harder that you're going to fight enemies that are going to take more damage and more bullets to kill. But it's all based off an armor system. So what that means is that you of course, if they have stronger armor, it's going to take more bullets to kill the enemy. But once you kill the person's armor, then the health specs of the game, when you're shooting their health after you killed off the armor, then they will die very quickly. The enemies does take a little bit easier to die, but again, there are some aspects where, again, you're not having to feel like you're putting a bunch of bullets into enemies now and they're just not dying at all. They really changed that in that game, which is actually a good thing. Also, another thing that I thought was really cool was that the fact that you can actually call in for help for your, when you're out and about running around in Seattle. You're basically, if you're getting into a squad fight between another faction, you can actually call in help from your other teammates inside of the game, which is actually pretty cool and unique. Now, when I was playing the beta, there was also something that was odd. I was hoping that I was actually going to be able to do some matchmaking with other players that was inside of the server, but somehow we wasn't able to create or find a game at all with any other people. We did manage to see some people during the strongholds when we did unlock them, but the fact is that we didn't have any ability or any way to actually, create a match where we can actually find and play with random people. So a person that's going in playing this game for the first time or just going in single player, there's no way for you to actually do any, at least to when we were playing, we didn't find any way to actually do any matchmaking between missions, which is something that was different in the first one, because before you started a mission, you do have the option to do matchmaking with randoms. So hopefully, it may add that feature in the full game, but I know when playing the beta, we really didn't see anyone playing. I was playing with my friends, so fortunately I was able to have a little bit of some cooperative experience. And from what my friend was telling me when we were playing, he told me that when as a group leader, that he wasn't able to see where I was going. I had to actually tell him where I was going on the map. So that was something that I wasn't sure if that was the case, but from what he told me, that there was an experience where he was not able to identify where I was going at times when I decided to select the mission on the map. I'm also talking about the map in itself. The map seems pretty big. They have 3 different sections of the dark zone, which was actually pretty cool. So this is just simply to give you guys an idea that, as you see here, they have the different levels and different factions. So there's definitely a lot of content possibly that we will see in this game, and hopefully you know, they will improve as far as giving us a different variety of experience with the side missions. I would hate that if this game is just simply doing the same thing and grind, because honestly, from a perspective, again, for those who, you know, are kind of like on the fence about Division 1 and whether or not Division 2 is better, it's pretty much the same game. I must say, they just improved a lot of the bugs and the things that was an issue with Division 1, and basically you know, remove that in Division 2. Only thing is that from me playing the beta, was just that the community wasn't strong. I didn't see anybody that I was able to play with. So just wanted to give you guys my first impressions. We do know that the in-game content is actually in place and the dark zone is available to be played, so I will be doing a further review on the in-game content as well. And again, if you guys like this video and you want to see more content related to Division, definitely check out this video. As of right now, of me playing this game, I'm having a hard time on whether or not to decide if it's actually worth $60. But you know, again, if you're just someone that just really loved Division 2, then you don't need anyone to tell you not to get it. But if you're someone that's on the fence on whether or not to get this game, I'm gonna be honest with you, this game is exactly like the first one. I really personally feel like it's a 1.5 again. So this your guy Pop-Tarts and Onions. Tell me in the comments below what you guys think of the game, or are you planning on getting it, or are you deciding to wait for a sale or see more content about it first? Let me know in the comments. Let's hang out. And again, this your guys Pop-Tarts and Onions here, signing off, giving you guys a review first impression of Division 2, and I'll see you guys in the next video. This is where awesome people come to watch. Peace.